Welcome, I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel. Today we'll talk about the astrology of the second week of April 2025, which covers April 6th through the 12th. First off, I wanted to say thank you to all of my patrons. I appreciate all of your support. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/Nina Gryphon, and you can get access to these forecasts early before the general public. At the highest tier of the Patreon, you can also get access to my monthly Magical Elections ebook, which teaches you how and when to make astrological talismans. April 7th, Venus retrograde at 25 Pisces conjoins Saturn and sextiles Uranus in Pisces. Venus is practically stationary now before she goes direct. So just as last week we saw Mars making a trine and a sextile to Saturn and Uranus, Venus is doing something similar. With Venus and Mars aspecting the Saturn-Uranus sextile in close succession, we see a complex picture forming, which tells us that this moment is about the negotiation for war, Mars, and peace, Venus. Now, Venus and Mars are both taking their seats at the table, and each will have their due. Venus is better positioned to have an influence right now because she conjoins Saturn, which is a stronger aspect, a stronger way of connecting than merely aspecting Saturn by trine, which is what Mars is doing. Remember that Venus, too, will spend a good amount of time in the 27th degree of Pisces, which is 26 degrees and 0 minutes to 26 degrees and 59 minutes of Pisces, which is her degree of exaltation, where she is absolutely the most powerful. As a result, she'll be very well situated to bring an almost idealized peace to the current moment. But let's also remember that Venus conjoining Saturn, kind of on its own, is pretty sorrowful, and it brings to mind the tragic romantic hero who is misunderstood, who is alone and has been rejected, but he still looks fabulous in his melancholy. That's kind of the aesthetic and the feeling with Venus conjoining Saturn. April 7th, Mercury turns direct at 26 Pisces, so he is debilitated in Pisces, but he's also the most magical in Pisces. It's a moment to savor because we can think of Mercury as having retrograded from Aries into Pisces, the sign of the cosmic ocean of existence and all of its churning and fertile chaos. This is where Mercury can freely create and introduce as much weirdness into the world as he wishes, unhampered by the boundaries that he has to respect in the other signs. In Pisces, there really are no rules. Just like Venus, Mercury closely conjoins Saturn in the North Node as he stations direct. He will conjoin the North Node on April 10th, so it's best not to take reality too seriously now. Whatever we've been told and have accepted over the past few weeks and even months, as the inner planets have transited Saturn, Neptune, and the North Node in Pisces, has to be taken with a huge grain of salt. In particular, the idea of restrictions, Saturnian things, will turn out to be a mirage, thanks to the North Node and the influence of Pisces. It's as though none of this drama, which feels so real and so definitive, will turn out to be real. It's easy to forget that when we are being very definitively told what is what, but it's really best to mentally question these Saturnian statements and just think, is that really so? April 12th, Venus goes direct at 24 Pisces, so she finally goes direct now and we can exhale a little. Venus retrograde always intensifies Venusian matters and feelings. Whether we're talking about personal relationships, social cohesion, we usually see mass protests with Venus retrograde, or intense feelings pertaining to sex, art, beauty, etc. As Venus goes direct, these matters become a bit more linear. Not necessarily less important, but there is a sense that we are ready for new developments in a play that we've been participating in for a while. It's not that this is completely new ground, it's that we get to experience this landscape more straightforwardly rather than while walking backwards. Also, let's recognize that Venus conjoins Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune while she stations direct. So it's not necessarily going to be a happy and carefree development that we might otherwise expect from Venus, but one that is more somber and serious. April 12th, we also get the full moon at 23 Libra. This moon conjoins the fixed star Spica, which is highly benefic and relates to agriculture, the food supply, medicines, and similar skills and tools that people have developed over the millennia to make their lives on this earth more secure and abundant. So these will be some of the themes of this lunation for the next couple of weeks until the new moon. This full moon is ruled by Venus, so issues pertaining to women, the LGBTQ community, sexual morality, and the arts will all be front of mind. Venus is exalted and stationary here, conjoining Saturn and the North Node. So she is very powerful now, and she could destroy seemingly insurmountable obstacles through the sheer power of love and peace. It is said that a planet turning direct is like a sick person who has improved so much that they are for the first time rising out of their bed. It's an important moment in a planet's cycle, one that suggests a powerful change of direction for the better. That it's baked into this full moon underscores the importance of Venus's direct motion now. Now, just because Venus is so peaceful doesn't mean that all will be done calmly. Mars in Cancer squares the Sun-Moon axis of the full moon, suggesting upheaval and conflict as part of the road to peace, paradoxically. So there is war, but there's also peace. There's the ideal of peace right now. Thanks for watching. I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel.